Good morning, everybody. It's early, and I have been listening to some music, and it's carnal music. It's not Christian music. However, I consider it testimony music because it matches events in my life. And I'm going to sing along to a song, and sun shining down. When I think of it, I think of SON. The song sparked some of the deepest prayer I have ever had, to a point of exhaustion that I can't explain. I lost my grandchild, and in that process, I lost my daughter for many years. But I grew up with that kind of loss around me. My parents lost 3 children in a fire when I was 11 months old, and I was the sole survivor. So I've seen that pain in their eyes. I've seen that loss, that darkness that nobody can reach but Jesus. I know this because I've had a darkness that only He could reach. And again, I've lost so many people since 2012. I can't even count. But when my sister was dying, the song really struck me because she was my first friend on earth. She was my best friend. She knew everything about me, pretty much. You can't get away with anything when your sister knows every influx of your voice, every face that you make, and so forth. So when she was passing away, I prayed all day, every day. She had the longest 3 weeks of suffering. And I didn't know what the outcome would be, but I knew that Jesus was still with me. And obviously I wanted her to stay here. Unbeknownst to me, my father was going to die before her. To my knowledge, he had COPD and lung fibrosis, which he had for years. I noticed a downhill slide in his health, but didn't know what it was. Hoped he wasn't dying, but he had exhibited some symptoms that were abnormal for him. On our last visit, we all spent the weekend together. My sister, he, one of my best friends, my son, my mom. We spent the weekend here when this was his house, and it still is his house. But, yeah, my dad died 2 days before my sister. While she was dying 2 weeks later, he became very ill, and I called 911. They brought him to the hospital. He was supposed to come home for hospice. We found out he had 4th stage lung cancer. He never told us. Afterwards, I also found paperwork. He also had 4th stage kidney disease. And they say that he acquired COVID. And we're thinking, because my sister came here to visit and get his car put into the garage, and before she was symptomatic. That's the assumption. My sister acquired COVID, and it took her out. in a horrible way. So as I was praying for her, I couldn't quit because I thought of her in that hospital bed alone. That was a horrible, horrible, horrible pandemic. People died alone. And so as she lay there, I figured I can stay awake too. The exhaustion I'm feeling is nothing compared to what she's feeling. She's possibly most likely at the end of her life, and I can't even imagine. But it tore me up to see her suffer, to hear her suffer, to be able to talk to her for a while and then never again because she didn't have the breath to speak. She wrote messages on a computer. So I did some of the hardest, most difficult prayers and had to rely on Jesus in a way I never had to before. I was out of control. I have no control over life. I have no control over death. I tried to pray her here, but apparently that wasn't God's will. But I felt his presence the whole time. So the sun shining down on me. Yeah, he brought me through that prayer time. He brought, I hope, my sister through that illness. That was literally suffocating her. And that was hard to bear as I pray. So I had to stay in the Spirit, pray in the Spirit, so that I could keep moving forward with prayer. And whatever God's will was, whatever he was doing in my sister and my dad, in those places I can't reach and I can't get to. When they were unconscious, I didn't stop. My body hurt, my mind hurt, my head hurt, but never as much as theirs. So I couldn't stop. And so I hear these lyrics, and it just matched those days, how I felt. Somewhat how I felt. I can't put into words what someone that close dying to you feels like. And then to have your dad come in and go before her and happen so fast. You didn't even have time to prepare for either one. To have your sister calling you, asking you the hardest questions ever. And she's so strong, and she's telling me she's afraid. And I had to hold in everything that I was feeling and be strong for her. She needed that. And I'm big sister, so I knew she didn't have the breath to cry, so I said, "Baby, stop crying. You don't have the breath for that. I know what you need," and I began to make the list, and that's how well we know each other. I will take care of it. I'll call the hospital. And before they put the ventilator in, she stopped them. They were all ready to operate, to do the operation procedure. The reason I know this is she got on video and she told them, "Stop, I want my sister." And they were all in their surgical uniforms. They were all masked up. They all had the caps on, the whole gamut. There were nurses and doctors standing around her. She was scared. What do I do? She says. I can't leave Mom and Dad lose another child. Now, mind you, at this time, I know our dad is dying in the hospital, and she never knew. And we weren't telling her. She was too weak. She was way too weak. But I think I have to believe that my dad went first, so he could meet his little girl when she left. So this song represents my desperation, my total reliance on God during this time, my desire that they not suffer. I wanted them here. Apparently God has other plans. Only He knows where they are. I know where I hope they are. I know where I prayed them to be, even in unconsciousness. And I love them both so much, and I miss them. But this song to me is my prayer time, my prayer memory song. And I hope that describes why I'm singing this song. I won't be singing it by myself. I'll be singing along with the artist. But it hits me deep. And when it says I'm feeling fine, that didn't mean I'm feeling fine, like everything's great and wonderful. I knew I wasn't alone, like through every dark time since I've been saved, every one of the deepest, darkest, painful times, the good times, all the times He's with me. He said, I will never leave you nor forsake you. When I first got saved, He meant it. He's still there. He's always there. He's the only reason I'm sitting here talking to you, and I'm able to talk about this, because I used to never talk about the important things, the things that hurt me deeply. But with God, I'm able to do anything with Him and with Holy Spirit in me. So thank you for listening, and I'm going to sign off. You all have a good day.